What's something a poor kid would understand, but would utterly confuse a rich kid? Waiting around in a laundromat. Had to go to one a couple times before. Those suck. Watching the rest of the class go on class trips or vacations while you stay home and or work. Oh man, that one hurt to read. I always went on field trips and had amazing memories and moments. I can't imagine a kid having to stay behind due to cost. But at our school we had a subsidy program that even if parents couldn't pay for trips for their kids, the school would be able to help assist. I don't think this was ever abused either. Every time you get a little bit ahead, an extra $100 or so, and being able to relax and breathe a bit, next day something goes catastrophically wrong with the car, or an appliance, or an unexpected late charge on something you forgot about. It never ends. One step forward, 2 steps back. It's expensive to be poor. Having sleep for dinner. If you pull your knees way up to your chest, it helps with the hunger pains. The guilt versus gratitude relationship fight you have when your friends share their food with you. Because on one hand you never have enough money to buy enough food to be fully sated, so that extra from your friends is awesome. But on the other hand you understand how awful it is not to have enough food at lunch, and you don't want to put your friends in that position. The other hand you understand how awful it is not to have enough food at lunch, and you don't want to put your friends in that position. Becoming wealthier as an adult now, nothing felt better than paying back a kid who used to give me PBJ sandwiches. Those were everything at the time and he didn't mind, but I was guilt-ridden. Going to the library to use the internet. New means different, not unused. When you're getting new clothes, they are used from family or a thrift store. Paying bills before the age of 18. My entire identity revolves around food. I use my spare fun money on food now. I give gifts of food, I take friends out to eat. I give people their fav snacks and candy bars as little surprises. We never had enough as a kid. We went hungry every dang day. And now, I express myself through food. I'll bring friends dinner. I'll bake people's favorites. I'll bring my co-workers entire casseroles. I'll take huge pots of soup to our neighbors. I'm getting emotional right now, just thinking about how important the availability of food is to me. I have an 18-year-old co-worker that doesn't eat lunch during break for our 12-hour shift. So I started packing twice as much and I feed her the extra I bring. I just want all my friends and family to be full. To never have to feel hunger like my family did. Like I did. I don't want that for them. I wish I could give you multiple upvotes. Buying food, not for taste or preference, but for the price point and how filling it is. It's all about that rice. Sugar sandwiches for dinner. Butter, sugar and bread. We thought it was like dessert for dinner, but my mom told us recently it was because we didn't have any food. For us we had butter and sugar toast for breakfast, since my dad needed the milk for coffee and we were out of peanut butter and jam. Brought it to school for lunch a couple times too, though normally the we're out of food lunch was jam or plastic cheese sandwiches. My parents always managed to find something for dinner, even if it was just a grilled cheese sandwich each. White bread toasted with butter and garlic powder equals poor man's garlic bread. My parents would splurge and buy hamburger buns for it. I remember when we would go shopping for school clothes, it was at Walmart or Kmart and it was always the sale items and one size up so we could grow into it. And shoes at least an inch too long. Being really young and getting excited about the power cut, lighting candles etc when really it was because we couldn't afford electricity. Good on your parents for making it a fun event instead of burdening you with the sadness of it all. Milk was in the pantry, Carnation instant. You get to eat the leftovers which the guest didn't eat, as your parents make the best items for your guests. My Korean family was by no means poor, but man do I feel this one. No brand name snacks being shared. No brand name anything, really. I was always jealous of my friends who had fancy snacks like Dunkaroos or Gushers, since I only ever got the Kroger or Walmart brand snacks, and only if we had extra food stamps left over. Being able to buy the good snacks for my kids makes me feel like I have accomplished something in my life. Back in high school, I was getting flamed for having cheap shoes from Marshalls. Here's something along the lines of how it went. Kid, those shoes are ugly as frick. Me. I agree. I gotta wait for my next paycheck so I can grab some new ones. Kid, why don't you just ask your parents buy you shoes? Me. Because they gotta put money in more important places right now. Kid, wait. So your parents don't buy you new shoes? Me. Nah, I gotta save up. Kid, look of extreme confusion. The confusion of the kid when he realized that most parents don't buy their kids everything they want was something I won't forget. In typical high school fashion, he then proceeded to tease me for being broke, also explaining to others that the only time I left my home state was for family emergencies was something that they couldn't grasp either. I used to get clowned for my clothes and shoes. I can still see their laughing faces like 25 years later. Yes, I'm aware my shoe has a hole in it. No, my socks do not match, and yes, I do cut my own hair. Thanks for pointing that all out so loudly and in front of so many people. The large pillows full of cheap cereal at the grocery store. They always put them way up on the top shelf too so as not to offend the more expensive General Mills Kellogg's Post cereals. At my local grocery store, they are on the very bottom instead. Knowing how to sew as a necessity. I've fixed countless shirts and pants, even my couch. Everyone needs to learn this. Fried bologna, cause we eating fancy. Putting water in shampoo bottles to make it last longer. I don't know what level mix you are talking about, but there is no sense letting the coating inside the bottle go to waste. Add a little water, shake it up and let it settle to get at least 4 or so more washes out of it. I was a poor kid who was lucky enough to go to a good high school. The downside of that was growing up next to entitled brats. I've seen a girl throw her brand new gold iPhone across the room and not bat an eye because her parents would buy her a new one. Sure enough, the next time I saw her she had one. These are the same kids that crash the new cars they get for their birthdays, get manicures, facials, and eyelash every week despite never working a day in their lives. On the other side, I was scared when I ripped the strap off the backpack I had been using for 4 years. I sewed the dang thing up because I didn't want to stress my mom out with having to find a new one for me. I used it for 2 more years through college until it finally kicked the bucket and I was able to get a new one. Getting upset when clothes, shoes, or other basic items are ruined. If I had a hole in my shoe or a stain or tear on my clothes I had to live with it, at least for a while. I knew kids in the middle and upper classes that would get chewed out for stuff like that, but their parents would usually buy them new stuff right away. That wasn't the case for a lot of kids like me because it just wasn't possible. Most of the clothes I owned were hand-me-downs to begin with. Some of it was found in the garbage. My friend borrowed my long-sleeve Nike shirt, newly purchased from the Salvation Army, and immediately put thumb holes in it. She just laughed as I flipped my crap. Frick you, tenor. My mom whooped my ass over that. Parents borrowing birthday money to help with bills or buying food and toiletries. Love them to death. They've always worked hard for me and my sister. Oh, and not having health insurance. That cable and Wi-Fi are a luxury. That going to the nearest beach is a vacation. Santa Claus have a budget. Relaxing in an empty parking lot is your friend's car is a typical night out because nobody has anything at home and don't want to be there anyways because it's too stressful. You can't just live within your means. Guess he'll die then. Oh wait, funerals are expensive. The actual process of looking at something in a store and debating whether or not it's really something they need or is it something they want before trying to see if they can find a cheaper version. Back where I am from we still have to heat up bath water on the stove in that neck of the woods. Every term our school would do a thing called Scholastic Books. It's like a catalog of books and other educational things that parents can go through, put what they think their child will like and order them. The school gets a percentage of the sales and the kids get an education-filled Christmas unboxing every term. Almost every kid in my class would get at least one thing. Expect me. So, just sitting in the back of class watching other kids showing off their new stuff to each other. One year a kid left before the order came in and the teacher gave his book to me. Rich kids will never know the feeling of being poor, having it noticed and not being shamed for it. It was the only time I ever got a book from Scholastic and I still have it. Side note, I'm all grown up and am not super poor. Every term my mum and I pick a class at the local primary school and buy books for every student that doesn't have a book order in that classroom. It's a mixed school, half rich people and half poor people living in a trailer park struggling to get by. Doing without. Most rich kids have never had to contemplate what it is like being without food or living in a cockroach infested and safe heck hole before. No one should. Coming to school stinking because your parents couldn't pay utilities that month as if you chose to be gross. I'm feeling this one. I grew up on an acreage that we rented, downwind from the town landfill. Even when we did laundry, we still stank. We were always teased and mocked through school. Most kids, make sure to save your allowance. Poor kid rich kid, what's that? LOL. I would get an allowance, save as much as possible, then have my mom need it and spend it all on drugs. Fun times. Seldom or never travel abroad. I've never been out of the country and I'm 24, not even Canada. Never going to the dentist before. Relatable. First time I ever went to the dentist is when I joined the Navy. You have to get creative for entertainment. Rarely had toys and friends definitely couldn't come over. Sugar rice was very common. So was crap on a shingle. White gravy with meat on white bread was at least once a week. Parents constantly busy with work and side jobs and being exhausted all the dang time. Hand-me-downs were new clothes. Sharing a room with multiple family members. Having to do chores without getting money or a reward. Always getting consoles and games like 5 years after they released and everyone was onto new crap. Bruh, there's a lot. That game where you hunt for change down the back of the sofa so your mum can buy cigarettes. Struggle meals. Love my mom. No matter how hard times got, she always found a way to whip something up in the kitchen. My fave was fried tortillas with refried beans. Sometimes with cheese. Coming home to the gas, light or water shut off. That shame when your parents have to tell the cashier to take items off because they didn't have enough water in the shampoo detergent. Collecting all the change in the house to cash in at the local grocery store. Knowing your mom's social security number by heart at 12 BC you had to call to set up payment arrangements for the utilities while she worked evenings. School lunch shaming. For example, indebted Rhode Island kids must eat the sun P&B of shame. My school had free lunch tickets. They were a different color than the regular lunch tickets. That way everyone could know your family was poor. The value of $1. Bread for hot dog buns. Poor or Australian. What it is like to eat spaghetti for over a year and a half straight. Other than my birthday, that is exactly what I've done and am doing. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate IT. I hate IT. I hate IT. Sorry, I had to have a moment. Stressed myself out. I'm no expert at being broke, but you should probably get some rice or something. They call it intermittent fasting by not eating breakfast, but that's pretty standard to me how I grew up. Not eating breakfast, lunch, dinner because there was no food. You have been visited by the cook dog. Comment: without food there is no paradise, so that you never burn the stakes. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.